Hey, this is Rupticon on my new channel HaloRelay, relaying upcoming Halo news and updates. Today I'll be going over my theory for Halo 5 Guardians. For my theory, I want to take us back to the Arbiter. During the Great Schism, he remained loyal to the Prophets, doing whatever they asked of him, unaware that the Covenant's great journey was false. The Prophets sent him to kill Caesar Refumi and the rest of the heretics on the gas mine on the planet Threshold. The heretics had found out the truth behind the Halo rings and the false Great Journey, but the Arbiter remained too loyal to listen to what the heretics had realized. The heretics were right, and by this time the Prophet of Truth already had plans to replace the elites with the brutes. The Arbiter remained loyal until after the Prophet of Truth gave the brutes the order to eradicate the elites, and Tartarus betrayed the Arbiter after retrieving the Index. Finally, he realized the Prophet's lies and led the elites in a rebellion against the Covenant, forming the Swords of St. Helios. Here's where my theory comes in. My theory is that Chief has joined the insurrectionists, or maybe started a rebellion of his own. The insurrectionists rebelled against the UEG because they believed the government was corrupt and imperialistic. What if the same thing is happening to the Master Chief? What if the government we as players have been fighting for and have learned to be the good guys for every Halo game is actually a corrupt and imperialistic government? That would make us question what we know about the Halo universe. That would definitely mark Chief as a traitor to the UNSC, Oni, and Locke. The Master Chief has been questioning his humanity for a while now, especially with the loss of Cortana. He would be completely broken, asking himself who he's been fighting for in his entire life, why he was so loyal, and what his life has been about. The Master Chief would be asking himself this: is this what you wanted? Is this what you were looking for? Was everything you've compromised, everything you've done, worth it? Was it? It becomes obvious that in this part of the Chief trailer, he's talking to himself. As he looks up at the statue of himself, he questions everything he has chosen to be, and if everything he has compromised was worth it. Another idea that supports my theory is the recent Benjamin Giraud interviews. If you haven't noticed, the majority of the interviewees were set up by Oni. Ben even says that it's near impossible to find survivors of a glass planet, and that he was grateful that Oni set him up with some. Almost every interviewee talks about insurrectionists and how horrible they are. My theory includes that Oni made up all these lies in order to falsify the public info on the insurrectionists, making them sound like horrible people, when really, Oni is the corrupt government. We do know from books such as The Fall of Reach that the insurrection did have home at Eridanus too, but they were beaten down by the UNSC almost 20 years before John was even born, and other than occasional pirating, it was a safe colony. If Chief has joined the Innies, then Oni has sent Locke to kill him to put an end to it. Also, this explains Oni's propaganda and Locke's words, "All hail the conquering hero. Let us remember him as our protector and not the one who gave us this. As our savior and not our betrayer. Let us see him forever as you, and not as you. All hail the conquering hero, the one who was supposed to save us all. But now I must save us from you." So, remember him as this, not this. They're trying to cover up that Chief has joined the insurrectionists, also sending an assassin to silence him. And not as our betrayer. While the UNSC and Oni's exact enemy should be the insurrectionists at this point. The one who was supposed to save us all, but now I must save us from you, our enemy, the insurrectionists. In the Benjamin Giraud interviews, Oni is trying to cover up everything they did to Chief. First they cover up that John died at 6. Then Gabriella Dvorak says that John was abducted by insurrectionists, not Oni. She goes on to say that John towered above everyone else, possibly covering up the augmentations. Then she states that John told her he wanted to enlist in the UNSC. Everything she said was an obvious cover-up. Then we get the guy who's telling Ben it's a cover-up. Funny how Ben disregards his warnings. Oni and the UEG don't want their citizens to know that their greatest hero, their protector, and the one who was supposed to save them all, has joined their enemy. They don't want a rebellion by the people they govern, and that's why they'll do anything to keep it a secret. Classic Oni. We all know Chief, and we know he couldn't be a traitor to us, but I can see how he could be a traitor to Oni. That's my theory. Comment below with theories of your own. Subscribe and watch for my next video when the new #HuntTheTruth episode is released.